Okay, so let me redo this. All right, where did I leave off? The power. Yeah, it's a good thing for RDNA. Disk drive. Here we go. So the disk drive, the storage, and the performance target. Yeah, it's nothing new that I haven't kind of been saying. This whole like diskless thing. That's why I'm not getting a PS5 digital, even if it's $100 cheaper. That's why I'm not getting it. It'd be a good. It's a good deal. Anybody that doesn't mind digital, it's a big thing for me. And especially if you have Xbox One games, that means you can't get a Series S and then play the games because you didn't do the digital download. Your disc doesn't count for that. So what? Because I bought a disc, I support the company less than if I bought it digitally and then I could play it anywhere and I can't play the, like and their solution to this better not be a disc attachment. It better not be. That's fucking greedy. That's stupid. And you've like putting a not adding a disc attachment or adding it for green, it doesn't affect whether or not I'm buying the shit. What you're challenging right now are the fucking hardcore fanboys. Like this shit is like when Intel just lowered their RAM speed on certain motherboards. Like, hey, I think it was the Z390. Uh, it's capped. You can't run like you're not pissing off the competition there. You're not pissing off AMD fanboys. You're giving AMD fanboys and people in the middle ground more of a reason to be like, yeah, no, this is bullshit. You're pissing off your fan base, pissing off the people that actually fucking support you, the people that say stupid baseless claims just because, hey, I'm defending Microsoft. Performance target, 1440p, 60 frames. Yeah, this is looking the better console with and this disk drive. It's stupid, but this is looking to be the better console. It has 1 TB. There's no storage option. This should be 2 TB minimum. Come on. It's almost double the price. What is that? 1.5 even? You can't give that little incentive? Because what will they have a 2 TB $600 variant? I think so. I hope to be proven wrong. I hope so. I really hope I'm wrong, but I think they're going to have a 2 TB version of this Series X for 600. And they might not just because of the expandable storage are all one. It says they're 1 TB expansion cards, so maybe they're just selling them for 150 or 100. And right here, okay, so backwards compatibility. They all play all Xbox One games. I mean, this doesn't play any games that you have discs of. So if all you have are disc games, then well, you're shit out of luck. You need to get the Series X anyway. Microsoft basically just said that. Oops. Man, they're really making a push for this like no disc bullshit. And it's like if you want no disc, why did you put the disc drive in here then? If they're pushing so hard to say to punish anybody that has a disc versus anybody that's bought digitally. Because if you buy a disc, you probably get it cheaper than the digital versus you just have to go off of whatever prices and sales they have there. Anybody who tries to buy Xenoverse in the year 2019 on the fucking PS4 knows that that shit has been on there for $59.99. Xenoverse 1, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 1. If you played Dragon Ball games, you haven't heard of it, there's a reason. $59.99 because it's digital in the year 2020 or 2019. So if they really had the balls, they would have taken the disk drive off of here. This is no balls. This is no ball. I say Microsoft, put your balls to the walls. If I could take the disk drive out, then test your fan base, then push for that digital bullshit. And it's like if the disk drive was so important in this one, it was important in this one. If it's important in the high end model, it's important in the lower end model. Sony's not doing that bullshit. They're just having a cheaper version that doesn't have a disk drive. Here's here's the next gen PlayStation people that don't care about discs. Here's the ones that do. That's it, $100 difference because it takes money to put that in. You're telling me that they couldn't sell this for $299 with a disk drive? With a disk drive, they couldn't sell this for $299? So, the backwards compatibility plays all Xbox One games, supports Xbox 360, OG Xbox games. Just say original. Sorry, don't say OG. Because there's nothing about Microsoft that I want to hear the word OG coming out of their goddamn mouths. OG. It plays original Xbox games. Now this right here, the Series S has next gen support, but it specifically says something different for the Series X. Xbox Series X exclusives. Why is that different? Why does this not say, if I'm reading this right, it should have just said next gen support for both of them. Or they should have cut this next gen support out of the Series S side and put Xbox Series exclusives. And then they should have taken the X out of here. But what I'm thinking by reading this, and this is I saw this on Rich's video. He was talking about it, and then I saw this, and I was like, okay, I gotta talk about, because I finished this video. He didn't mention this part. I don't know who. Hopefully, other people will catch this. I really shouldn't be the only person. But if they put something different specifically, there's a reason they put something different specifically. Like the CPUs are identical. They're probably identical CPUs. You know, maybe this is a closer to a maybe the Series X has closer to a 3900, and if the Series S has closer to a 3700, it just might be at 3.8 gigahertz, slightly overclocked than the 3.6 it comes with out of box. Or maybe this is a 3700X in the Series S, and the Series X has a 3900. But it says the same. Power consumption, it seems pretty like MSRP, lower MSRP. There's nothing here that's like the things that are different. Enthusiast price, budget price, no disk drive, Blu-ray, DVD, BDXL. Why are these two different? Because I think that there are going to be games designed specifically for the Xbox Series X that are next gen that won't be on the Series S. So then them putting next gen support when it doesn't support all next gen, because all next gen will probably be supported only on the Series X, that's false advertising. I don't really care what you say. It's false advertising. What they should have put is Xbox Series X/S exclusives for the Series X, and on the Series S's side, put Xbox Series S exclusives. Just be honest. It's this. You're saying the same thing. You don't. They made sure it looked different. They made sure they put something different so to not be false, to say that because they put next gen support, and then it comes out that Series X has certain games that don't play on the Series S. Well, that's like Intel saying, yeah, we're going to have PCIe Gen 4 for our next upcoming, and the next upcoming comes, and it's like, nah, hold on, get back to us. It's not a no, it's just a no right now. It's not that. It clearly states Xbox Series X exclusives. That means that there's going to be games next gen that are not going to be on the Series S. So why does the Series S say next gen support when it's not real next gen support? It's Xbox Series S support. The storage, like I said right here, it's 1 terabyte internally. Sure, you're going to burn through that. So you're going to need other options. And there are other options that, mind you, are not here, because this is like Xbox saying, yeah, so here's a overview of all of our stuff. And it's like, PS5, PlayStation come out with this, shows the digital and then the series and the non, oh my God, I'm calling the PS5 digital ones now. I'm calling them series. They could have come out with one that just says PS5 and PS5 digital and had all the same stats. That doesn't help me whether or not, even as a PlayStation person, it doesn't help me as whether or not I'm going to get a PlayStation. I want to see a UI. I want to see other older games on it. I want to see a variety of older games on it. I want to see a variety of older games that the PS4 had trouble with. Do I care that it's neck and neck with the Series X, I don't care. I don't care. Xbox box fans didn't care that the Xbox One was going to be slightly less powerful than PlayStation. I mean, they said it wasn't because they were fanboys and fanboyed until they realized, oh, you know, it isn't as powerful. And the Series X came out, and then they forgot about the One, and then, or sorry, they forgot about the One when the One X came out, and it was like, oh, we have the more powerful console, but whatever. If I were an Xbox fan at that point, I wouldn't have cared. I wouldn't have cared that the One was less powerful than the PS4. I wanted to play Halo. I wanted to play Gears. What's the other one? They have Forza. What other shit that they have? Like that's what I wanted. I didn't care that it was less powerful. Could it play the games I wanted to play? Not could it play more powerful in the competition. Fuck the competition. If I was if I was worried about the competition, I'd be looking at the competition. If I was interested about the competition, I'd be interested in the competition. And I'd pay attention to them. I wouldn't care that it's weaker or stronger. Then I'd get both eventually. Uh, I don't know, the lack of disk drive in the Series S versus the Series X. I don't know. Honestly, I think that this would have been a smarter, because of the disk drive, it would have been a smarter decision to have a middle column of the Series SX. And it's a Series S with a disk drive for $350. I'd get that. I would never consider getting the Series S then. I would only get that. And what is this Xbox Series X exclusives and then the next gen support lying bullshit on the other side? I don't care about this. I want to see how much money the storages, the expandable Seagate storage drives are. I want to know that. Um, I want to actually see this thing play some fucking games. I want to see the UI. I want to see what's attached to the share button. I want to see if you can edit a video straight on the hardware. I want to see it. I don't know. This is better than I've already put out what Xbox needs to do to or how to save themselves from the fiasco PR nightmare that they're going to eventually make for themselves. And this is better. This is better as far as the Series X is concerned. This is better than what was stated and what I stated in my video because I was assuming that it was at that $599 price point. Which at $499, like I said, you need to be at 400. You need to undercut the PlayStation as far as hardware to get me to pay attention to your system. Because everything else that you're doing is not giving me a reason to buy your hardware. And if it's the same price as a PS5, okay. Okay, you can make now. Fine, I'll even give it the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, you can have the argument. Which one's better? Which one's worse? I think they're screwed, and they're going to be really screwed. Because all something has to do is not have this storage bullshit with the proprietary system, which doesn't look like they are. And if they have a solution that makes it easier for people to have a secondary storage unit, that's a big one. You know, diskless versus disk. Sony only has $100 difference between their diskless and disk. You know, if you're a disk gamer and you always buy the cheapest one, you're just like, I just want to have that so I can just play exclusives and I don't really care. And you just have that. There's no reason you're not getting the Series S. If you're an anti-disc person, the budget option's out of that for you. So if you're a budget gamer and you're a hardcore against downloads and you're an Xbox fanboy, well, you know, now Microsoft has personally pissed you off. And this isn't something that we didn't this is something that was expected, that it was not going to have a disk drive. But $299, I honestly think they should have downgrade that CPU and put a fucking disk drive in there for $299. But that's me. I'd wish that they had. This is a 6-core, 12-thread Zen 2 processor, same at 3.8 gigahertz. I wish it had wish it had a disk drive, even if it only played games. It's just to play Blu-ray and DVDs. Even if it didn't do 4K Blu-ray, BDXL, if it was just Blu-ray and DVD. It's all that it played. And games. That's it. That's all it needed. And I would take that cut in a CPU and a performance target. I would rather there be an asterisk next to this 1440p and then 1080p 90 to 100 or 60 to 120 frames depending on the game. I would rather that, honestly. Because like 2K gaming for $300 for 2K gaming locked at 60, and this is performance target. This isn't like everything's. What are games going to look like in 2 years on this thing? The same they're going to look on your 8-core 16-thread Zen 2 processor with a 4 teraflop RDNA 2.0 GPU. And then you just upgrade whatever part you needed to run whatever game. Hardware you get stuck into, you can't just take it apart and be like, I'm just going to replace the GPU. So it's like you're stuck with this $300 block, but it has no disk drive. I don't think these companies realize how fucking big that is. It's really important on a used market. If you have games, your system's going to sell more. Even if your system's in a shittier condition, you got 10, 15 games, that sells. That's 10, 15 games that person doesn't have to buy. That's however many games out of there that person can take and go, and there's only 2 or 3 that I actually want. And there's actually 2 or 3 more that I considered playing, but I would never really buy. And I can sell the rest of them for whatever, 10, 15 bucks. And the performance, and don't even get me started on the 8K gaming. 8K gaming, suck my dick. Fuck you, Microsoft. 8K gaming, bullshit. Really? 4K 60 FPS is the performance target. Don't talk to me about 8K gaming. Nail 4K 120 frames. Nail on this thing 1440p 120 frames, 144 frames. Then we'll fucking talk about 8K gaming. Get 40K 40K 6 FPS. Get 4K 60 FPS, consistent, no problems, everything during this entire thing's lifespan, and then talk to me about 8K gaming. Don't talk to me about 8K gaming and it's doing 4K 60 FPS. 8K gaming. Like these next gen Navis are supposed to be around a 2080 Ti to higher than 2080 Ti. Like a 2080 Ti 4K does like 60 on Horizon. Or 60 or 80. I've seen it. That's with a CPU a lot better than this. Although it's not like really CPU heavy in a lot of areas, that like an 8-core 16 thread is fine. I don't know. I can nitpick this. Like I could say, oh, my computer does a better performance target and has more RAM than it, and I can replace the GPU to have the same GPU, and I have a weaker CPU, but that doesn't matter for most of the games anyway. Like I have a Ryzen 3600X. If you got a 3600, between that to this 8-core 16-thread, does it matter? No, the GPU is much more important because at this point it's doing so much work. Backwards compatibility. This kills me. Series X exclusives. So are there going to be a PS5 digital exclusives and PS5 disc version exclusives? No. Both of their systems are going to play both of the same fucking games. All of them. Every game that's going to come out for Sony is going to be playable on it. I don't know. I think you're fucking up, Xbox. I think you're fucking up, Xbox, and it's because Microsoft's really stopping to give a shit about you. Who cares about their service? No, I'm not gonna tweet at him.